What if you woke up one night, looked to the sky, and saw nothing? No familiar, comforting glow, just an unnerving, perfect blackness where our moon should be. For the first few moments, the only change is a breathtaking, almost terrifyingly beautiful canvas of stars, brighter than you've ever seen. But that moment of awe wouldn't last, because what you're seeing is only the light. The gravitational effect, that invisible tether binding our world to its cosmic partner, also travels at the speed of light. In just 1.3 seconds after the last photon of moonlight hit your eyes, the real changes begin. The moon's gravity is gone. A chain reaction that could unravel our planet has been set in motion. This is a speculative but scientific timeline of how our world could die. The first and most immediate consequence isn't a cataclysmic explosion, but a profound and sudden shift in the planet's rhythm. For billions of years, the oceans have danced to a rhythm dictated mostly by the moon. Now, that lead dancer is gone. The tides don't vanish completely. The sun still has its own gravitational pull, but the sun's tidal effect is only about 1/3 the strength of the moon's. Within hours, global tides would shrink dramatically. Imagine every coastline on Earth suddenly thrown into chaos. This isn't just an inconvenience for surfers, it's day zero of a crisis for an entire biome. The intertidal zones, those vibrant ribbons of life between high and low tide marks, are the first to feel the impact. Creatures like crabs, mussels, and starfish have evolved their entire lives around this predictable, twice-daily rhythm. Suddenly, that rhythm is broken. Mussels that need to be submerged to feed could be left high and dry. Sea creatures that lay their eggs in the tidal wash would find their nurseries have vanished. For them, it's a sudden and unforgiving environmental collapse. The gentle, life-giving pulse of the ocean has been replaced by a weak, shallow breath that can no longer sustain many of them. For humanity, the first 24 hours would be a mix of confusion and dread. Satellites confirm the impossible. The moon is gone. News reports are frantic. But beyond the darkness and the strange seas, daily life for most people seems to continue. It's a false sense of security. A foundational pillar of Earth's stability has been kicked out, and the structure of our world is beginning to groan. The collapse has started, not with a bang, but with the silent crisis unfolding on 1,000 forgotten shores. Over the next few months, the consequences of that first tidal shock would begin to ripple through the global ecosystem. The intertidal zones, once teeming with life, would become biological deserts. This isn't just a tragedy for the crabs and starfish, it's a critical failure in the global food web. Millions of shorebirds that migrate thousands of miles to feed on these specific creatures would arrive to find their banquet tables empty. They would begin to starve. The devastation spreads into the oceans. The regular mixing of nutrient-rich water driven by strong tides is significantly weakened. Coastal estuaries, the nurseries for a huge percentage of the fish that feed the world, could start to stagnate. This would trigger a catastrophic decline in fish populations. For the billions of people who rely on the ocean for their primary source of protein, this is the beginning of a global food crisis that no government is prepared for. At the same time, a much slower but powerful change is taking hold. For eons, the moon's gravity has acted like a brake on our planet, creating tidal friction that slows Earth's rotation and gradually lengthens our days. Without the moon, the primary braking system is gone. The long-term process of our planet's rotation slowing down would stop. This won't make our days noticeably shorter overnight, but it marks a fundamental shift in our planet's long-term evolution. The engine of our planet's climate is being altered, and within a single year, the world is a hungrier and more unpredictable place. A century after the moon's disappearance, humanity, or what's left of it, would exist in a state of permanent crisis. The global food web, broken at its foundation, has likely led to widespread famine and conflict. But the greatest horror isn't found in the daily struggle for survival. It's found in the quiet calculations of scientists. For decades, they have been studying the long-term dynamics of a moonless Earth, and they've made a discovery that may seal our fate. The moon wasn't just a tidal engine, it was our planet's gyroscope. Its immense gravity acts as an anchor, holding Earth's axial tilt at a relatively stable 23.5 degrees. This tilt is the single most important reason for our predictable, life-giving seasons. Without the moon, that anchor is gone. The scientists' models deliver a terrifying verdict. Earth's axial tilt is now unstable and could begin a slow, chaotic drift over geological time. During this first century, the change would be immeasurable. You wouldn't feel it, but the physics is as inescapable as gravity itself. Some simulations suggest the tilt could eventually vary wildly. Humanity is now living on borrowed time, knowing that the stable world their ancestors knew is gone forever, and that the planet itself may eventually become their executioner. The real extinction event hasn't truly begun, but its arrival is now a mathematical possibility. Tens to hundreds of thousands of years into the future, the scientists' predictions have become a horrifying reality. Earth's axial tilt has begun to drift chaotically. The wobble is no longer a theoretical concept, it's a planetary catastrophe unfolding in slow motion. The seasons, once the gentle rhythm of life, have become instruments of chaos. Imagine a world where the North Pole has tilted several degrees more towards the sun. The Northern Hemisphere is plunged into brutally long and scorching summers, while the Southern Hemisphere is locked in an equally extended, ferocious winter. Great forests, unable to adapt or migrate, could die off. Then, over the course of centuries, the wobble shifts the other way. The entire climate system is thrown into reverse. This isn't a stable shift. It's a chaotic and unpredictable oscillation. For any descendants of humanity, life would be a desperate nomadic struggle against a planet that has turned on them. The very concept of agriculture becomes a distant memory. How can you plant crops when you don't know if the coming season will bring years of ice or years of scorching drought? Civilization as we know it would be impossible. Human populations would be small, scattered, and constantly on the move, fleeing the planet's seasonal rage. They would look up at the star-filled, moonless sky and know that the world they inherited is fundamentally broken. One million years after the moon vanished, the term Earth no longer describes the planet our ancestors knew. It is now a world of unimaginable extremes, a testament to the chaos of a broken axial tilt. Over geological timescales, the wobble may have become severe. Some models suggest Earth's axis could swing wildly, from near 0 degrees of tilt to as much as 45 degrees or more. Each phase in this chaotic cycle would bring a new kind of planetary hell. In a phase with near 0 tilt, the planet would lose its seasons entirely. The equator could be locked in a perpetual blistering summer, a zone of unbearable heat, while the poles, barely touched by direct sunlight, would be in a permanent, unimaginably deep freeze. Then, over tens of thousands of years, the planet could tilt the other way, toward a 45-degree angle. This would result in seasonality taken to an extreme. During the Northern Hemisphere's summer, the North Pole would point almost directly at the sun. The Arctic, once a realm of ice, could become a sweltering tropical zone. The subsequent winter would be a nightmare of epic proportions, potentially decades of continuous darkness, and a cold so profound that new glaciers could grind their way across the continents. This endless, violent cycle between a global greenhouse and a planetary ice age could be the final execution order for most complex surface life. No large animal or forest can adapt to its home continent, alternating between a furnace and a deep freeze every few 100,000 years. The surface of the Earth becomes a sterile battleground. If any descendants of humanity survived this long, it might be because they abandoned the surface entirely, living deep within the Earth's crust or in orbital habitats, forever looking down on a home world that is no longer truly theirs. The grand, beautiful, and complex experiment of surface life that produced forests, dinosaurs, and humans would be over. The vibrant biosphere erased. The universe is full of terrifying and awe-inspiring possibilities. Exploring them helps us understand our own fragile place within it. If you want to explore more cosmic what-if scenarios and understand the science behind the chaos, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. The story of a moonless Earth is a journey from a familiar world to an alien planet of extremes. It begins with the loss of a light in our sky and ends with the potential sterilization of our world's surface. It's a stark reminder that the moon is more than just a beautiful decoration. It's a cosmic partner, an anchor that has allowed the delicate, complex symphony of life to flourish. Its constant, quiet presence is a gift, the gift of rhythm, of seasons, and of a stable home. Its loss reveals a profound truth. Our world, our lives, and our entire existence are balanced on a celestial knife's edge, made possible by a partnership written in the stars billions of years ago.